Hi there, I'm Dave.
And I'm Andrew.
And this is the Brews Brothers Show. As you noticed today, my partner Stu is not here. Unfortunately, he is sick today. But I have a co-host and guest, Andrew Henderson. He actually is a web developer, and he has designed an app for iPhones, right?
Yep,
iPhone, cell phones.
right.
And so we're going to talk to him. We're going to find out what it takes to develop an app for a phone, and we'll talk about his app and other things. So stay tuned. All right, thanks for coming back, guys. Well, I have a special guest, Andrew Henderson here. And why don't you tell people who you are or what it is that you do?
Sure. I'm a software engineer. I've been developing professionally for web for over 10 years now. And this last year I launched my first iPhone app, as David mentioned. And so I've been out there now learning a lot about what it takes to actually put an app in the market and acquire customers. And it's been a really interesting transition in my career at this point.
Let's do that. Yeah, okay, well, let's talk first about your web developing, your little history. So you've been doing that for 10 years.
Yeah.
What, do you do your own code, or you use a certain platform? What do you use for developing your websites?
So most websites are HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So I call myself a JavaScript engineer, and that's what does all the moving parts and, sending forms and all the real bells and whistles underneath websites. That's run through JavaScript.
Okay.
For the most
so this is going to be a technical show, you guys.
Yeah, I guess.
This is our technical segment of the show.
Yeah, I didn't know how technical you'd want to get but I'm more than happy to go into it if they don't. People find it interesting.
Hey, if we lose them, we lose them. Just get on the websites and play, right?
Yeah. For sure.
Now, what did you have to go to school for this, or how did you learn?
No, I didn't. I was an English major in college, and so I took it up on my own time and just reading books. And I learned a lot on the job once I landed my first professional job. You learn from your coworkers, but there's just so much information out there. Free blogs, developers like myself who are sharing the information and teaching one another and giving talks. I gave a talk last week. You can buy books on O'Reilly. It's like O'Reilly.com. It's just a book on every single subject with whatever kind of app you want to build.
Well, that's cool. Well, I pretty much said you can learn anything on YouTube nowadays too. You could just Google and search how to do something, and you could learn how to build a car or an engine and things like that, but there's some things that you just shouldn't do.
I love just to type in the start of a sentence, how to, and just see what it recommends.
Yeah.
It's just so funny. It's the weirdest thing.
You can learn how to make all kinds of crazy things, to do that. Yeah. So now do you work for another company for your web design? Are you an employee of a bigger thing?
Yeah, I've been working for nearly 5 years now at a company that does expense and invoice software.
Oh, okay.
That's been an interesting experience. I've grown a lot in that role, as there's a lot of challenges dealing with financials and making sure that things are secure and that kind of stuff.
Gotcha. Well, that's great. And being that you learn this on your own and you can get a job at a larger company doing that kind of stuff is pretty good.
I think so. Yeah. It took some years.
It's
like my first job I landed was just on Craigslist helping local businesses with their website needs. I went around and literally hung flyers all over the neighborhood that I lived in. And
so you do everything from scratch. You're the actual coding and all that. Because I do some web design, but I use platforms to help me because I know just enough to put some design stuff and throw some stuff up there, but I have to rely on WordPress type of things and plugins and templates and that kind of stuff. And they look great, they function fine and all that kind of stuff. But the kind of stuff that you do is more custom, is it? That you have to write your own scripts and everything?
I mean, there's a lot of custom. I mean, the majority of the code is custom, but you know, open source software is really what's driving the development of the internet right now.
Yeah.
You know, I've built sites on WordPress. WordPress is great. I think I heard a statistic that it runs like over half the websites on the internet now.
Yeah.
So there's so many free open source softwares like WordPress that are great. They really get you started. I mean, if you have a blog you want to post, or you know, any just publishing information, you know, it's great for that. And there are plugin developers, as you mentioned.
Yeah. and that's kind of a, like I say, I'm somewhat technical. My dad was a computer programmer growing up, so I've always been around computers. You know, he was a programmer also. He worked for big companies doing very specific stuff. Excuse me. But for me, now some of the things I have my own actor website that I put up there, but I'm also working on some e-commerce sites, drop shipping sites, and affiliate sites, marketing, and you know, as a full-time full-time actor, you know, I have plenty of time to try to do something to make money, because full-time acting here in LA a lot of times is not paying the bills. So I'm trying to do other things to do that. So, but like I said, all of it's WordPress that I'm using, so I know who to call when I need help.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to,
my own little private help designer and stuff like that. Now, do you do? So you work for a company, but do you also do your own stuff? Do you private? What do you call it? Subcontract your own?
I used to do a lot of that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned, that's how I started out, and then I've shifted away from that as the job started to take up more of my time. Yeah. And then I just wanted to start to build my own things, such as Swizzle, the app that I built. So yeah, so that's what my free time has been over the last year.
Because once I guess if you're working all day doing this stuff, you don't want to come home and do more of it. You know, or is it something that you enjoy doing and that you'll do it even on your spare time, just programming stuff?
Yeah, I have spent a lot of my free time after work doing it, especially with this app. I mean, I was just working a lot in my free time on it. You know, I recently got engaged about a year ago, so
great, congratulations.
So I definitely have more responsibilities there now. I can't just be coding all the time.
Spend some time with her, right? So like, get off the damn computer. I get that a lot too. Are you spending time with me?
Yeah.
Okay, well then let's go ahead and talk about the app. Yeah. So first of all, there's a ton of apps out there, and what does it take what are the steps to idea, to development, to even getting, you know, Apple? Is there requirements? Are there approvals? So take us through, if someone has an idea for an app, what do you do? Where do you go?
Yeah, well, so I've been learning a lot about that myself, because I've just always been, somebody comes to me with an idea and they just need help building it, and I don't have to worry about whether or not it's going to be a success or how they're going to make customers, any of that kind of stuff. It's just like, okay, you'll pay me, I'll build it. Yeah, exactly. So, so there's a great book I read called The Lean Startup.
The Lean Startup.
Yeah, Lean Startup, and it's based on lean manufacturing and Toyota, and applying some of those principles to software development, where you only build what's called the minimum viable product. Okay. Meaning you have a value proposition for a customer, you think they're going to find it interesting and want to pay for it, or just sign up if it's free, download the app, and you only build what you need to validate whether or not this is a good idea. Okay. So you don't want to build too much. I've done this in the past, where I'll just spend months and months building all these features, trying to make it perfect, and think this is what people want, and then you just go show it to somebody, and nobody wants it. So you've wasted now 6-12 months of your life.
Gotcha. So you start off with a real basic kind of thing, and then if you're getting a lot of good reviews and hits, then you go, oh, then we're going to add this, and then add this, and then build it later.
It's like an iterative process. So that's where I'm at with Swizzle right now. I built with the minimum viable product, and I'm acquiring early adopters to try to give us feedback. And respond to their requests and needs, which I think is a really cool phase to be in as a customer, because you can have a lot of influence over where the app moves and the direction it goes in. Okay,
so you have an idea. You have to start with an idea, right? And then, now if someone has an idea and they're not a developer, like I've had a few ideas for apps, but I ain't gonna want to touch that. I have some friends that have done developers also, developed some apps, and there's a process to this. So what if somebody has an idea for an app? What would they do, or should they do? I mean, find somebody like you to build it, or?
I would not do that first, because I think that's a quick way to lose some money. Building something, again, that no one necessarily wants. What I would recommend people do is really outline what the idea is, figure out try to think of all the pain points. It's called friction, meaning like things that are going to keep people from wanting to use it. Once you've got it honed in, just on paper, written down, you can start to sketch some things out. There's a lot of tools out there. Envision is a really cool app that you can draw exactly what it looks like on an iPhone. You can even put points on the screen where people can click it. And you can actually get people in front of the screen and just say, here's what I've built. Like, can you just click it? I'd say, hey, David, can you just come through and look at this screen and click around and tell me what your experience is when using this app. And if you click on something and say, it doesn't make any sense, or why would I use this? I can sort of, with the least amount of effort, validate whether or not it's a worthwhile idea. And then once...
And that's something that a regular person could do without too much trouble?
Yeah, or you could hire a designer. It's oftentimes less expensive to just hire a designer to do some quick mock-ups for you. There's a lot of sites out there that you can find.
Like Fiverr?
Yeah, Fiverr.
I don't know how you feel about that, because I know those guys.
Designs or something, I think, is one of them. Yeah. So I guess where I'm going with this is just try to show people what it is you're trying to build. That's one mistake a lot of, I think, early idea people have with their app. They think that the idea is the most important thing, and they try to protect it. I've had even friends that say, "Oh, I can't talk about it until you sign an NDA."
Yeah, exactly.
And the truth is, I mean, it's really about execution. If you can't even talk to people about your idea, how's anybody going to use it? It's like, so just run it by your friends and family. Get feedback.
People don't want something stolen either. You see that a lot too. But you got to do something with it.
The likelihood that you're going to tell me your idea and I'm going to have the passion to take it for 4 to 7 years, because that's like typically what it takes to get an idea to market, have traction, and have growth of your community, and exit, meaning like sell it or IPO. I think they said it's like 5 to 8 years or 4 to 7 years. So the likelihood you're just going to come across somebody who's going to go, that's a great idea, and he's going to have the dedication
to bring it first.
Yeah, it's very slim.
So once, you said like 4 or 5 years. Is that how long does it take to develop? Well, like your app, you've got some experience, but you're learning along the way, because this was a new thing for you.
Yeah.
So you're learning this along the way. So how long has it taken you from your idea to start the development to something that we can actually go and download today? What's the timeline that you ran across?
I think it was about 7 or 8 months. October of last year is when I just opened up Google Docs and started writing down the idea. I mean, you're an actor, similar to writing a treatment, basically. And I started to talk to some other engineers about it, friends and family, and I started building it at the end of last year. But I was learning a lot about developing my first phone app, like native application. So I spun my wheels a bit and into the new year, and it didn't release it until I think it's about 6 weeks ago now or so. It was like early June. So that, I think it was like 7, 8 months.
Now, is there a certain or special program that's needed to do a phone app?
Well, yeah, I mean, so the different platforms have their different languages. iPhone has Objective-C, and now Swift is their new language that Apple has put out. And Android uses Java, but they've got some new languages that they're putting out there. But I used what's called React Native, which is an open source software, kind of like WordPress, for developing across both platforms. So you can, it's called like write once and learn once, write everywhere. Sorry. Learn once, write everywhere is the terminology. So you can take that, you can build web apps with this language, React. You can build native apps, and it's really taking off in the development community. So,
good. Otherwise you'd have to learn how to do the Apple language versus the Android language to do that. Now, I know you're at, tell everybody what the name of your app is.
Sure. It's called Swizzle.
Swizzle, like a swizzle stick?
Like a swizzle stick. It's exactly the concept. It was it's social. So I had this picture in my head that there's all of these social circles in a community, and they just don't cross communication channels, and you don't know that there's a party going on next door, but maybe your neighbors are new to town and they would have invited you, or just finding out about things going on in your area. If you sort of stir it all up, and everybody sort of becomes part of like a bigger community.
So it's called Swizzle, and now it's only available on Apple on iPhones.
Yes, right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
Now, when you did the writing of it, though, you said you had it written where you can go both platforms. Why isn't it on Android yet?
Because
what's the process of that?
So there's definitely some additional hurdles for both platforms. So if you were to build for Android first and then wanted to bring it to iPhone, there would be some additional steps.
Okay.
And so I just wanted to test the idea, validate it, and get it out there, get some feedback. And once I had some community and traction going on, bring it to the Android platform as well. So it's a shorter path to getting it on Android when using something like React than it would be if I were to build, like you said, an entirely iOS application and then have to go back and build an Android application.
Gotcha. So just a few tweaks and a few add-ons, you can release it. But you wanted to start off with iPhone because it's a huge community. A lot of people have
and that's
iPhones.
What I have. So I mean, there's a little biased on that.
Yeah, you can test it that way too by doing that and doing it that way. So then, because I have the Android and like half my family have the Android, so I couldn't even download the app to try it yet. So then, let's see. Why don't we talk about then what the app is? Let's go into detail on what is Swizzle. You mentioned it's a social app, and that to me comes out like Facebook is a social app or Instagram or whatever. But what does Swizzle do? What's the idea for that?
Sure. It's basically a marketplace where you can post an activity that you're interested in doing. And maybe you don't have some friends that share a similar schedule with you. I mean, you're an actor, but maybe some of your friends have 9-to-5 jobs and you like to play tennis or hike. You can go on there and post a time and place where you'd like to play, and somebody in the area can see, and maybe they're interested in playing, and they request to join you. So it's a way. Now,
do they have to be linked up as a friend, or they can be totally strangers on this?
They can be totally strangers. I mean, that was the motivation was to introduce people who didn't know one another. And I've had people say, "Oh, well, I want to share it with my friends," and I've struggled with. Being able to have people see exactly what their friends are doing. I'm like, well, this is really for people to find new friends and stuff. There have been attempts to.
Well, they have a groups called like meetup groups, and I've seen so many like meetup group for hikers or meetup group for very specific activities where you go and you meet people that you don't know, but you're doing the activities like a bowling or tennis or hiking and things like that. Is this kind of the same idea with that, just together in one app?
Yeah, it's got some similarities. I mean, Meetup's great. I think Meetup's a cool app. This is more for like on-demand type thing and with less overhead. So Meetup, oftentimes Meetups get together once a month, or they have event dates that are further out, and so there's a lot of overhead for the organizer, putting together a community, trying to make people aware. And then people sign up, and 3 weeks later they forgot they signed up, and they get like a low turnout. This is really just for like if you want to do something today or tomorrow, and like an Uber for activity partners, basically. Like
you want to go do something?
Yeah, you can look on the map and see what's going on today in the area, and you can just say I'm free this afternoon and just request to join.
So like I want to go ice skating today. Now I don't know too many people like to go ice skating.
Right.
I can post something that. Either look for somebody that's doing that activity, or I can post my own new activity. Is that correct?
Absolutely,
on how it works?
Yeah. And it's real quick. You can do it in 5 steps. In 30 seconds, you could get something posted.
Oh, okay, cool. Now, is there no, downloading is free?
Yes,
right. You can download it for free. Is there any kind of a like a sign up requirement, or do you put what information do you need on this? Again, I haven't tried it, so I apologize on that. You're gonna have to let everybody know.
Yeah, no. So right now it's Facebook login. So you need your Facebook account. Yeah, I tried just to streamline it, but also have identity verification involved. I mean, people, if it was just email, then people could just create an email address and have no picture up and that kind of thing. This is. You sign up with Facebook, you get your picture in there, and you can't change your name. That's like the only thing I lock. It's like whatever your name is on Facebook, like that's your name, so people know.
Facebook usually requires you to put your real name for the most part.
Yeah, and I mean, all you can really do is make it harder for people to game a system. I mean, there's always going to be ways, but to go through the process of creating a Facebook profile and adding a picture and coming back and it's just I don't think most people will be motivated enough to do it, at least.
Yeah, and that's easy because I have a lot of programs or apps that just do Facebook login. You hit one button and you put it in. You don't have to try to type out your email address and a password. You just do that and you're logged in to it. So it's easy to do that way. So then, being that we can talk a little bit about going a different direction on this, being that it's free. Why did you put this out? How do you make any money? Because you don't want to, unless it's something you're totally passionate about, you want to just donate to the world. Is there any money in making apps? I see a lot of apps that are free and some cost you 99 cents or $3 or $12. What's the reasoning or process of pricing your app, and why would you do it that way?
Right. Well, so being that it's social, it's important to have a community that's thriving before you really try to monetize anything.
Okay. You want as many people as possible to jump on this thing.
Yeah. I mean, so right now I'm really trying to create value within the community. And there's opportunities whenever you create something valuable for people to monetize. I mean, advertising is one way to go about it. I personally don't prefer advertising route.
Like little pop-up ads that come up every once in a while or something like that?
Well, or like, for instance, Facebook or Instagram now, the way that they're advertising, that's not my goal of where I would want to take it if we were to monetize. But there's other avenues of having businesses host activities, that kind of thing, or even I like to believe that people are getting more accustomed to micropayments, meaning paying 99 cents for an app, or a lot of other apps will have in-app purchases for things if you want to purchase
upgrades. You download a free game, and you want extra coins or points or levels, and you pay 99 cents and continue.
There are so many apps out there, like you said, and people don't want to necessarily pay for something they haven't tried yet. But if you're using an app and you're getting a lot of value out of it, and then they show you a few other things they offer if you're interested, I think that's a much smoother transition for a user than getting a paywall right when.
So right now you're not making nothing on this thing.
No, I'm really
free app,
totally
putting it out there.
I promise.
7 months of his time. All right, well, let's talk about the approval process. Once you have your app designed and you're ready to go, and you want to get it approved through Apple, because I understand that there's an Apple process on that. Do you need to have the app finished? Or can you send them like, here's my idea, what do you think? Can I get approved? How does that part work?
No, you actually upload your app. They have this thing called a bundle, and you upload it. And Apple has people on the other end, they take a look at your app, they download it, they walk through it. And
so it has to be pretty much finished then, or the most part done. So if you spend a lot of time designing and developing this app and finishing it, you might not know if it's approved or not.
Yeah, well, I definitely would say, if you've got a hard launch date or you've announced it to people, give yourself a few days, because it could get rejected for one reason or another. The app was originally rejected because they wanted us to have an end user license agreement, it's called, which people basically just say, I'm not going to upload artwork that I don't own, that kind of stuff. So I had to put that up when people sign up. And
so the first time it was rejected, then you had to go back and add a few things to it and send it to them. And then how long does it take usually for them to go through it and accept or deny it?
It takes usually, my experience was about 24 hours.
Oh, it's quick.
Yeah, pretty quick.
They're on there looking for new stuff, aren't they?
Oh yeah. They, you definitely make their platform better by putting valuable apps up there. Yeah, so they got the time it came back around when they approved it. Finally, it didn't take 12, 14 hours or so, and it was approved.
Now, does that mean it's on their app store ready to download? Or?
It is, yeah.
Oh, really? So they say, it's approved, it's up.
Yeah.
Go for it.
And it's interesting that you mentioned that, because so where we're at, it's more of a beta phase, early stage, and when you develop for web, it's easy to restrict to a certain set of users, or people have to have like a promo code, that kind of stuff. So Apple has their ways of doing that, but it's a lot more challenging. If you're in beta, or there's a thing called test flight, where if I wanted to restrict it to like only my friends and not put it in the public app store, you'd have to download test flight, and then you have to download my app through test flight. It's a rigmarole, and it makes it more challenging. I wish they'd make it easier for
just put it up to do that. Is there a process for the Android side? I mean, you're not there yet because you're gonna wait for that. But is it similar in restrictions? I heard Apple's pretty restricted for a lot of things. But
sure, yeah. My understanding is, Android is a lot more open and less restrictive. Apple's just known for being restrictive.
Okay, cool. So maybe in a few months, everybody else will be able to get it, but download the Apple app for Swizzle to do that. Now let's talk about the safety, possible safety concerns on this, because it is a social thing, social app, and people are meeting people they don't know. You know, what is your feedback normally when somebody talks about that? What's your ideas, or how is it safeguarded?
Yeah, so with this, again, MVP, the minimum viable product, I tried to set up a few things that would keep it safer for people, which is you meet at establishments. You can't say, come meet in my basement or something like that. It's
come through the back door.
So when you're hosting, you got to put like you said, a skating rink or some place that's an established business. Okay. When you go to list where you want to have it, that's what will come up in the list. Okay. You go to pick, and so there's that. Users who are hosting things can hide the exact address of the place until someone's been accepted. So that's one way. I mean, it's not foolproof, obviously. If it's an established business, they can find the address. But there's a few things I would recommend. Like, again, only meeting people in public. Letting people know where you're headed. And that kind of
so
thing.
there's an acceptance thing. So if I'm running a event or whatever it is I want to do, and people are interested, I get a chance to kind of check them out ahead of time. And approve them or not approve them. Right. You can see their profile, and you can see how long they've been on the app, and if they've been at other events. That kind of thing. So it shows kind of a history of their usage on the app. Yeah, I mean, similar to Instagram, where you can see people's photos and get a sense of like what they like to do or who they are. Okay. The hope is with events that or activities, you'll be able to see what type of things this person likes to do. And so like always when you're doing a social thing is be safe. Tell people where you're going if you're going to meet somebody somewhere. Let your friends and family know that you're going somewhere, or don't go alone. Bring friends, right? You can bring friends along. Yeah, you can bring friends, and it's not one-on-one necessarily. Okay. Yeah. People can host event activities for multiple people. You could encourage your friends to go on there and request to join as well, or you can tell the host through comments. Can I bring a friend? Yeah. There's commenting on the activities as well. Okay. Now, do you think people are going to use this as like a dating app? Is there a part of this where you can like meet to hook up, or what's that kind of thing happening? I mean, that's not the original focus, but I mean, as human beings, I think we have a tendency to turn everything into a dating. Yeah, Facebook experience. Is a dating app now. Yeah. For a lot of people. So I mean, if people met that way, that'd be great. I wouldn't discourage that at all. But be careful. Yeah. Be safe. Yeah. Don't be stupid. What was your motivation to make this app, the social app? How did that come about? So I mentioned earlier, I got engaged last year, and my fiance lived in Orange County. Okay. And she moved up to LA, moved in when we got engaged. And with her moving up here, she's got an alternative schedule. She's got some days off during the week when her friends are working. Yeah. She wanted to meet new people in LA, wanted to try new activities. And so she was kind of the muse for this. I thought, all right, well, let me try to build something for people like yourself who are new to town, maybe, or even people who've lived here for a while and just maybe want to try something different, or just feel like, and maybe I could meet some new people in my area, that kind of thing. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Is there any other apps or projects coming up for you, or is this something you want to still stick with? This is my primary focus right now. I mean, I hope there will be more apps in the future. It's my first founding experience. I've been an engineer for years, but I'm learning that there's a lot involved with starting an app, a company, and growing that community. So it's definitely takes up all my resources at the moment. And I think once you've done one before, it'll be easier to do the next ones. You like I said, you did a lot of learning. Yeah. Like with anything, it takes a long time to learn something, but then when you want to do it again, it's easier. It gets easier and easier to go. Absolutely. Yeah. Cool. Now, if we want people to use your app, so download Swizzle on the Apple App Store, right? Is that what they call it, App Store? They do. They call it the App Store. Yeah. I don't know. I don't go to the dark side. Android user. Get on there, download it, use it, and because you want as many people on it as possible.
Yeah.
And if someone has a suggestion on to make it better, or a fix, or an issue or a problem, is there a way to let you guys know that there's a problem with that?
Yeah, under the settings section of the app, there's a feedback link where you can just click that and it'll email me directly, and I'd love some feedback.
Okay.
I may have mentioned already, we're really in the early stage of refining the product, trying to take feedback from users and deliver what people want for discovering new activities. And
so instead of, because you can I know on the Android store you can rate apps, you can do stars and you make comments and stuff like that. So instead of giving them a 1 star and saying how crappy this thing is, which is probably not, let them know what the issues are, right? Because you tend to do this. You'd rather have them do that than, if you want to rate 5 star or whatever their ratings is, please do so, because that helps.
Yeah.
Right? Rating, thumbs up, stars, whatever it is, right?
Yeah. I mean, I had some other founders that are friends of mine tell me, oh, well, be careful when putting in the App Store before it's ready, because you'll get low ratings, and that can hurt our early apps. But I thought, what, I really need to just get it out there. And as you mentioned, I hope people will message me or give feedback, and we can refine it and make it better. Because this is not the idea as I see it in the long run. It's just trying to deliver that original concept and see if people are getting value from it. So
you're okay with maybe that's not working for people. Let's throw a little changes and tweaks in there. People are so in a hurry to badmouth something or rate bad something or complain about something more than they are willing to give praise for something. If you like it, it's great. If you don't like it, explain why. Contact them. Let them know what's working or not working, or what you'd like to see, and help be. You're part of this development in this case, right? You guys are all part of the program. I
would hope, the early people come on and just feel welcomed, and that they have an influence on the product. And I think a lot of people, when they give negative feedback, just feel like they've got no other avenue in which to be heard or have an impact. Be part of the community. Build your own community with this, and the more people that use it, the more events that are going on, right? Absolutely.
If you've got one person on there, I'm going bowling by myself. Anybody want to go?
Yeah, that's a challenge. That's certainly a challenge. It's called that network effect, and you have to reach that point where it starts to snowball. And we're not there yet. We're trying to climb that mountain right now.
So it's going to take a while. You're okay with that. It's going to take a few years, like you said. It's going to take a few years to completely develop and change and morph into something on that. And I hope it works out too. That's
too.
Cool. So now, if anybody wants to contact you, is through the app the best way, or do you have it someplace else? If people have questions on how to design or develop an app, is that something you're willing to do at $50 an hour if you ask them a question? But viewers of the show have questions about apps, I'd be happy to answer. Okay.
You can email me at andrew@swizzlelife.com. The website is swizzlelife.com.
Swizzle Life, okay.
And so you can reach me there, or if through the app feedback, will email me directly.
Okay.
As well.
And then the website is swizzlelife.com. So we'll put links to that somewhere so people can find it on there. And then on the website, it has information about the app. Can they download it directly from the website? Yeah,
there's a link on the website at the top. You can click that, and it'll take you to the App Store where you can download it. And
or on your phone. You go to the app store on your phone and download it. It's easy to find. We my girlfriend found it. She's the only one with the Apple iPhone in our family, so she's part of the dark side. And thanks again, everybody, for watching. I appreciate my co-host today, my special guest Andrew, for talking to us about developing apps and your specific app. Be sure you go and download the Swizzle app and play with it and have fun and see how it works. Give some feedback. You can also put notes or messages down below here on YouTube, or find us on Facebook. On YouTube, if you like our video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. If you give us a thumbs down, we don't care. Go away, go watch something else. But only good. Only good stuff.
Only thumbs up.
Or let us know why. Come on, feedback, right? That's what we're talking about.
That's what we're talking about,
and follow us on Facebook, the Brews Brothers Show. And don't forget, we have the Brews Brothers Go, where we actually go out to people's locations. So if you have a location, a store, a restaurant, any kind of thing, a special event you would like us to cover, we would be glad to come out and do that. And we do accept food. for payment. We'll review food, beverages, for sure. We're looking for sponsors. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.